You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631 261 6420. That's 631 261 6420. Auto Excellence.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544.
That's good to hear. So, being that we're old school, recently Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw because they were unhappy with the storyline. What are your thoughts and what are your feelings about that and the state that the character or the athlete can just decide they're going to walk out on their contract?
That part, and again, so right, all we have is so far, I think, as far as if I'm caught up on it, we just have the side of that they walked out, they dropped the belts on Ace's desk or whatever it was, and they left. I don't think we've heard from Sasha and Naomi since, for whatever reason. I tend to think, like a lot of people, it's still a work, but I don't think it is. I know both of those young ladies very well. Utmost respect for them. Old school, I don't get it. Nothing justifies walking out, especially this day and age when the younger talent that's coming in now, and they're still young talent, have been given the world. Let's talk about their payday. If we're talking old school, let's talk about their paydays. Let's talk about their travel and what they're doing and what's afforded to them. That you just are. I don't like what's going on, and I'm going to leave. I can't wrap my head around that. I mean, how many times have I've been in a room, and when I say room, a locker room full of 40 guys who were pissed off and didn't like what was going on, but you did your job. And I think that's the easy part now, is that even if they love the business, they know there's other things they can be doing. So how much do you really love it? And when do we start thinking about the people that have invested all their time in the years they've been there? When do we start thinking about, forget the people behind the scenes, when do you start thinking about your fans? And while people going, yeah, good for you, you stuck up for yourself, and if you don't like it, walk out and all this other stuff. If I'm the owner of another company or someone in the industry, how do I know that's not going to happen to me next if they get upset? So again, just hearing what's been going on so far, I can't even say good for them for sticking up for themselves, because I'm not sure what the issue is. If it's creative, then I don't know. I just think there's a better way than just going, I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Well, did you work with either one of those young ladies at all?
Yeah. I was there from
day one.
I was there from day one with Sasha.
I figured.
So did you see something in Sasha? Because this is not the first time that this type of occurrence has happened. And again, I know nothing. I only know what I read.
Right.
But did you see that type of temperament from Sasha when you were training, or do you think this is just her attitude's changing?
I don't think it's like, I think when people hear temperament, they think it's an angry thing. I think there's that.
Is it her ego?
I definitely saw, as time went on, and not specifically with Sasha, I think with the whole group, I think I saw that entitlement, because they were always reminded of how important they are, and it is about them as well as they should be. But I think it was taken a step further, and like, okay, I do hold all the straws. I am, and without me, the show doesn't go on. I think that's the mentality. A lot of, I'm going to do damage to this company if I leave, and they better know it. Unfortunately, the WWE rolls on each and every week, and nothing changes. But I do see the attitude change, and I think it starts from the onset. I think if you're being told that people have the ability to speak up and all those things, and there's no chain of command, and talk to whoever you want, and some people go over everybody's head, and some people go around people, and that's the nature of any business. But I think as it comes to these younger cats in this business, I think the entitlement thing is way, way, way misinterpreted, and they think that someone's going to fold. And I think you can only use that card so many times before people call your bluff and go, well, then go do your thing. But if the story stays true, they're both under contract and can't work anywhere else, and they're not getting paid. And now they're getting hit in the pocketbook with no merchandise and everything else. So as good as you are and as much as you're loved in the wrestling universe, sooner or later you got to decide what you're going to do. And as anybody else, if they strike while the iron's hot and their names are still hot, that's good. But what happens if it goes on for a while and now there's other people who've come up from behind you that are just as good or more loyal, if that's the word you want to use? But I'm not a fan of walking out. I think if you have a conversation, you don't come to terms. That's that's always the announcement. We came to terms with Sasha or Naomi, and whether they're future endeavored or we wish them luck and what they're going to do, or hey, the door's open for you to come back. That's totally different than what's going on now, because now it just makes them seem like they both had a temper tantrum, left. And while people are like, yeah, good for you, screw them, now they got to be thinking, well, the air's kind of out of the balloon and no one's really talking about us anymore. And what have we done? So
here's a two-part question for you then. I'm assuming then you agree, because today's fans always like, there's no true stars. So I'm assuming you agree with the WWE saying, we're going to be the star because we can't afford this type of thing to happen. And then my next question is, would you blame Steve Austin for opening this door that now wrestlers feel they can walk out? Because he was probably the first guy to really do this, right?
Yeah, but I feel like people are using the Steve walkout as a justification. Because and I can't speak for Steve, but I'm pretty sure Steve didn't go, I'll set the tone for everybody else coming in the future. No. But I'm sure there's a lot more conversations that went on before Steve decided to do what he did. But just like everything else, people start comparing it and go, it's good enough for Steve Austin, and look who he is and what he's become. Then, geez, if I do the same thing, it's got to work out the same way. So I don't blame Steve in that. I think he's just grouped into, okay, he set the tone and everybody's following his lead. I would say if everybody went through what he was going through at the time or his situation, then maybe they could justify it. But right. I think everybody's backed the WWE into a corner and going, listen, like you said, we're the star. You guys are the players, So I don't think they're going to let anybody get that big anymore where they can literally shut the product down or make such an impact on the industry. It was great news for a bunch of weeks, and I really don't hear too much about it anymore. But I don't think there's a comparison, and I think, no disrespect to anybody, but you can't compare Sasha Naomi to Steve Austin anyway. So
completely agree. On top of it, when Steve walked out, he didn't come back for 20 years. It's not like he jumped to the competition. It took him 20 years to get back in the race. His loyalty was clearly still with Vince McMahon. Obviously, he was just
and I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure it was a face-to-face conversation. Whether it was a bunch of cussing each other out or screw you, or whatever, it was a face-to-face. It wasn't like here's your strap and I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm from what I understand, he made it pretty clear what was going to happen.
Bill, I gotta throw this.
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now. I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later.